We've got a recording again, just to tell everybody that it is recorded what I'm going to do now. This is a short module. There's not that much, there is a lot to say about it, but it's not that much slides. The next module will be quite a bit longer. Knowing myself, I'm not sure if we make all 3 modules, especially since I had this question about the taxes that I needed to do. But let's go for the financial analytics. And financial analytics, we discussed this every time. We're looking at the concepts. What do we think are analytics? Where can you find most of this information? And then what analytics can be done. And it is a little bit, I wouldn't say limited, but what I see in the slide deck is not everything we have. So I will talk about some things that are not on the slides, and I will do that based on a demo environment, on my demo environment. Having said that, let's look at those concepts first. The well-known slide, I might have to take out the animation. What are we talking about? We're talking about the billing process again. We're talking about at least a financial process, because what do we want to report? What do we want to analyze? How our business is doing. That means that we're looking at all invoices created, maybe corrections that have been made, debit memos, credit memos that have been created in the environment, and we are going to report on that. So that is where we still are. If I could have done this, I would have maybe fit it into the last session, because it fits nicely together. This is all about finances, but it doesn't work that way. So we're going to do billing. We're going to look at billing and actually the analytics of billing. Well, there are a couple of things that our platform offers and offered, and I just noticed 2 minutes for our environment, for our training, that not everything is there anymore. And that has to do with the fact that what we had on business intelligence was not up to speed with our desire from the desire from our customers. So the business intelligence is something I will not discuss that much. Do we have an alternative? We do. So what are we actually talking about in this module? We're going to do financial reports, and we're going to talk about billing data export. And not sure if it came up yesterday, last session, I think so, where we discussed that, for instance, credit memos were not reported for you, and debit memos were not in the rated data export file available. And I showed you that there are multiple export reports that could give you that same the same experience as the previous flat file that we had custom for you. So if you miss more information, the first thing I would do is and here he is again with his browser, people will say, let me go to the documentation, CloudBlue 21. And in the components, there is the reporting and data export and the generating of reports. Here you find all those data sets, and each of those data sets is described in what information is in there. So if you, and I'm going to put this in the chat of the training, if you miss more information, I would recommend you to go to this location, or at least to the other reports, and see if you can find what you're missing, and ask the admins or us to add that report to the data set, to the set of data sets that we are exporting for you. That's just one thing. The other thing we have is we have what we call financial reports. The advantage of billing data exports or rated data exports is that it contains every single field. If you use the correct set, it uses every single field that is available to the platform, and to you, so you can import it and play around, even import it into your own BI solution and play around with it. The downside is you might need more reports to get to the information, but it's also flexible because you can take specific information and make pivot tables around that if you have it in your BI solution, and play around with, okay, what do we have, what is a popular product, etc., etc. The finance report or the financial reports that you see right above it, let me go back in. This one has one drawback. They're fixed reports. You cannot add columns to it. You cannot add specific fields to those reports. But for a first view or a first glance of how the system is working, it is quite a good set of reports. These have been evolving over time until we decided that we're going to export the data for BI use. So we're not building on top of those anymore. We are now saying, okay, if you want more, we've got rated data export or billing data export. Take those files, import them into your BI solution, and play around with whatever you want to do with it. In our case, I'm going to look at the financial reports in a second, and I'm going to demonstrate a couple of them. Not all of them, because they're pretty harmless to play with if you have access to the classic panel. They're at every level. They are a business necessity, according to at least our view. That means that every single reseller, every single opco has its own set of reports based on his or her data as well. So we won't see everything on the platform itself. We will see everything within that seller, within that reseller, within that opco. So I would say your information, how are you doing on the platform? So what is the advantage of doing analytics? I think that I don't need to explain it to you. I'm going to just quickly read those lines. You can get insight into customer behavior and trends. If you see that a certain product is canceled now more than expected, go and inquire. What are people missing for this product? However, if you see that people are buying a different product at the same time, it simply means that the old is being replaced by the new. And you can maybe put your marketing team on that and say, okay, guys, now maybe we should set up some kind of marketing actions so that others that have that old product will know that there is a better or improved or whatever solution available. You want to get fast answers to business questions. This is always the marketing team speaking, because if you see people canceling subscriptions, if you see a lot of churn on a specific product, the only thing you can say is people don't like it. And you still don't have the answer to the business question, why are people doing this, right? It could be it's too expensive. It could also be that it lacks major functionality. And I don't get that answer faster, because I still have to go to a couple of my trusted customers that have recently canceled and ask them, why did you cancel? Based on that answer, I can make better business decisions, of course. I can reduce costs if I know that a certain product is no longer up to date with modern standards, and we see people move to another item. We can maybe decommission the old product. That saves us maintenance, troubleshooting, etc., etc. And thus we reduce cost. So what questions do you have so far? Like I said, this is a short module. At least when it comes to slides. If there are no questions, let me go to the next slide, which is the workspace. And the workspace are actually two. The first one is that reports thing. So and first two, I'm referring to this slide. Financial reports, I'm going to do a billing data export thingy in a second. So here's my reports page. Where do I find it? Well, I find all those things in billing. And under finance, there is a reports thing. And what do I have here? I have 6 groups, something about payment methods. I think that for most of you, that will not be the most relevant information because most of you just use some kind of invoicing payment method, Claro invoice or billing invoice or whatever, or invoice billing. So that does not give me that information. But statement, we discussed the aging categories. I can see what aged category accounts receivable accounts I have. What is in category 1? What is in category 2? What is in category 3? If you have multiple payment systems, I can see how many documents are generated using one payment system versus something else. But what is more important or more interesting is the sales information, some revenue information, maybe some subscriptions, expired subscriptions. How many do we have? How many people just leave their subscription and let it expire and don't cancel it? Subscriptions by plan. How many people do we have that one? Or new versus terminated subscriptions. We can see changes. Everything is just a read. So this, I would almost say, this will not break the system. It only could slow down the system. Like in your case, I'm not sure how long you have the platform, but at least it is the last 7 years. Why do I know that? Because I've been to some of you in that time frame. So those platforms were there. So I can select, let's say, something from the last year. And then I want to do a total sales. Be aware that when I do this, the system is going to query the database. So, and that is what I mean, that it might slow down the system. If you do this, let's say going back for 5 years in a huge platform like you have, it might result in a huge query that slows down the database. And if the database is slow, the whole platform becomes slow. So be very aware of what you're querying. It does not break it, like I said, but it can tremendously slow down the platform. In this case, I'm going to do it because I know this platform is not that big. What I see here, the total sales, there are 26 new subscriptions created. There are 28 other items. So that means that 26 plus 28 is 54. We see the money in this. Let's look at the order types. We have something for the hosting services. We see adjustments. There is no news, but there are 28 adjustments being made. And if I click this, I can see that all these adjustments are credit memos. So I get a report that I can click through. Sometimes you can click deeper and deeper and deeper. Sometimes it's only two layers. Let me go back another year again. And I want to do this by order type. So there is no sales available. I'm not sure why that is, because it should give me last year, that one. Now it gives me something. I see something order, other, and I see 26 sales orders. So you can, and again, like I said, you can drill down, go to hosting services. What did they buy? Auto resellers, all of them. 14 is the maximum here. If I click through, we see that everybody bought it for 10 years. And eventually I drill down into the individual invoice IDs with the customer numbers with it that bring me this report. Fun part is I can export this to Excel, and it's just this page that I export to Excel, by the way. I'm not adding extra information. It's if I do this here and I export to Excel, I just get a table in Excel with 3 lines, other, SO, and the third one. There is no click through option. So if you want to have all that information in one Excel sheet, you have to export this table into Excel, click other, export to Excel, go up, click SO, export to Excel, and then combine everything into the same Excel sheet. But that is what you can do here. And what are we talking about when we are looking at, let me go here. What types of reports we have? Well, we have the sales reports, we've got the revenue reports. Payment methods, like I said, it might be not that interesting for you. We've got the customer growth, something about the accounts receivable documents, what can be found there, and we've got subscription reports. It's up to you what you want, what you need. And of course, we can create those sales reports based on a plan. Classic billing panel. Where do I want to, what do I want to export? Let me see, I have a hand up. Ana Paula, tell me.
Just a fun fact, the report we use most is the one for payment methods.
Is that interesting? That's interesting. I thought you only had one. I thought you only had one payment method. So why are you using that most?
Because of the credit card, you know.
Okay, they do have credit card. Okay, that's good. That's in that case it's logical.
Yeah, and then to separate who is MasterCard, who is Visa, and etc. to get this kind of information. Yeah, and then we mash it with other information to send some when you have some error or something in the credit card system, then you need to send some notifications. Mm-hmm. So the report we use mostly from this panel is the payment method.
Interesting. No, in that case, I have all the information, because the information that I have is that every AMX entity only uses an invoice kind of way. But if you indeed have different payment methods, it's absolutely logical that you use those reports. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, what more do we have? Because this is the end of my slide deck, but what I want to show you, for those at least interested, is I want to go to my analytics item here. We haven't got a we have not got a slide deck on this one. Let me zoom out a little bit. But we have new analytics tools where we can see which plans there are, where I can hover over and if needed, click it. I can see the active subscriptions month over month or year over year, sizing. I've got who are the best vendors in this case, and a lot more information. It's not that huge when it comes to the amount of information you see in this one. You see that in March, all of a sudden we had 4 customers, and prior to that we had nothing. That means that our platform has been rebuilt in March. And the second thing we can do is that reporting and data export. And if I generate a report here, I can choose which file format to use. I can set up the title of that one, and I can define for which period do I want it. The moment I'm using my own account with my own email address, I can have this. I can just start that the report generation. I can go and do other things, and when the email pops up, I can either go back in or follow the link in that email that tells me that the report is ready. That's a manual report. So I need something now. The second thing I can do, and I think that most of our partners do this, they schedule those reports. either on a daily basis or on a monthly basis. Let's do a monthly report. I give the report title, what day do we generate it, and again, what format do we generate it? And in this case, it might be interesting to check that box because now, at least personally, I don't always remember when it's the first of the month. I'm not looking at my calendar all the time. I know when it's Monday, I know when it's Friday, I know when it's Wednesday, etc., but I don't know what is the first day of the month. For me, it's not interesting. I'm living Monday to Friday and then the weekend, but I'm not working March, April, etc. So it might be of interest to have the system send you that email. So those are the reporting options that I have. In this case, we only have the provisioned order report set up. If you want more, you can do that, or you can have those being set up by our support team or by the provider's management team of your platform. Having said that, let's go to my PowerPoint. There we go. So again, what I see a hand up. Ana Paula, tell me. Was that an error? Okay. What questions do you have? If you don't have questions, can you give me a thumbs up?
Oh, sorry, I forgot to unmute.
Yeah. Oh, you were asking me a question and I didn't react. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I was asking you a question. I put my hand down instead of unmuting because I'm stupid. Yeah. Okay, anyway, my question is, are we going to have how to configure stuff for the reports in the admin training?
Part of it, yeah. Besides that, there is some backend work needed, and that backend work is not part of the admin training either. But let me see what I can do on this one. But it's okay. Admin work, yeah. It's admin work.
It's admin work, and also is it related to RDE?
Yeah. This is all. RDE. This is RDE.
Okay. Yes, it's just because I don't have access yet to this one. They just installed this here. So okay. That's why I'm asking. I haven't had any contact to have RDE so far.
Yeah, got it. No, this is the RDE interface.
Oh, nice. Cool.
Yeah, okay. Perfect. Any more questions? If you have a question, don't forget to unmute yourself. It happened to me more often than I wanted. That's why I'm lucky that I'm now the trainer and I can leave myself unmuted all the time. If there are no more questions, let me stop the recording. And let's take, since we are not busy that long for now, let's be back at 50 minutes past the hour. So I'm giving